here in Lisbon, and I don't know what's happened today. Something's happened where everything's crunched together, and it's felt like a massive, massive contraction. And sometimes these things come along and they sweep through like a wave, and it's all you can really do just to sit back and relax into it. So what I wanted to, well, first I wanted to make a video about it, because this is kind of a nice cathartic way for me to get something out there that actually feels quite real, that's part of a process. And I think it's important for that to come across in this work as well, that people are going through stuff all the time, and people are really having difficult times with lots of things, especially now. There's so much uncertainty and there's so little ground to build anything on. And I think a friend put it best when he was talking about his travel plans. He said it's like trying to fly a kite in a storm. It's really just not working. It's not going anywhere. And so there was something that I wanted to talk about in regards to this, when this happens, when these kind of crunches come along. And I was hoping to go into a little bit of this kind of presence awareness exercise and some breath work, just to help settle a nervous system and to really get into the body. Because one thing I have noticed and felt is that the crunch doesn't really come from the feeling itself. The crunch doesn't really come from whatever it is that's rising up. It comes from the contraction around it. It comes from, well, that is the crunch. Like, that's how it all kind of comes to a head. Is like there's this intensity of emotion, this intensity of feeling, and then it all comes to a head, and your response to it, the subconscious response or the unconscious response, would be to tense up around this unfamiliar feeling, tense up around the intensity of this feeling, because it feels really scary. And so that's the fear-based response that we're generally conditioned into having around really intense feelings. And so what I thought would be useful is if we can practice a little bit of the opposite of that. How can you relax into the intensity of a feeling like this? How can you settle the nervous system? How can you stay present and stay in the body and stay connected to the thing that's going on while it's happening in real time, so you expand the capacity of your nervous system? And the way that I found to deal with that was to get into the fetal position first, because it felt safe, and then just breathe, and breathe in this way where I'm inhaling long, big, deep inhales through the nose, and relaxing, letting everything go. And so we'll do this a few times just to really get into the body. So inhaling through the nose, relax and let go. Inhale through the nose, letting all the tension go in the body. Inhaling through the nose, breathing a little bit deeper now into the belly. now we start to lengthen the exhale a little bit, really to slow the heart rate down. So what this deep breathing does, it lessens the activity in the prefrontal cortex, which gets you really more down into the limbic system, which is pure somatic experiencing of the emotions that you're feeling without the story around whether you should or shouldn't be feeling this thing. It's much more of an embodied experience. So then you can start to get that moving, that starts to get energy moving by just breathing into it and breathing down through the mind that's trying to cognize. Is that a word? I'm going to look this up. Cognize. That is a word. Yeah, so it's really getting through the part of the brain that is wanting to cognize everything and moving down into the feeling brain. So once you're there, what you can pro-yawn environment. This is Dan Brûlé's advice, because this also helps to rebalance the nervous system and helps to settle the nervous system more. So what we're going to do now is a practice of inhaling through the nose into the belly and long, slow exhales. This is a breathing exercise from Andrew Weil, who talks about the 4-7-8. That is breathing in to a count of 4, holding for a count of 7, exhaling for a count of 8. And what this does is it actually helps your mind focus on something other than the thing that it's been focusing on, and staying with the numbers, because it has to count. Already you start to feel things moving a little bit in the body, and the body trying to rebalance its own energies. So inhaling to a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, exhale to a count of 8. And so what that does is, as you lengthen the exhale, it slows down the heart rate. Longer exhales slow down the heart rate. So it's really good to do that while you're focusing on the deep inhales and breathing into the belly at the same time, because as you breathe into the belly, you're stimulating the vagus nerve, which is essentially the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's relaxing everything and putting your nervous system at ease. So then you can expand its capacity and let more of this feeling come through. And one of the keys to these exercises is to stay very present in what you're doing. So stay aware of your body, staying aware of your points of contact with the ground, the points of contact with your clothes, just noticing where you are, just in the space completely, without going up to your mind to think about things, to spin out the story about where you are. It's more just being there in that space while relaxing into the nervous system and expanding its capacity by feeling the feelings that it's throwing up, like the base feelings that it's trying to get you to feel. So we're going to do a little bit more of that 4-7-8. So inhaling on a count of 4, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, So that should be giving the body a little bit more energy, a little bit more of the breath to play with, a little bit more life force to hold the emotion and process it properly so you can integrate it. And it stops being an emotion that is causing a reaction from you. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you feel a little bit more relaxed now. Probably still going to go back to the fetal position and breathe a little bit more, but it's nice to get this out there, and it's nice to kind of process it in real time. So yeah, well, thanks for watching. I'll speak to you again soon.